Today I want to show you how to do a Josephine chain and a Josephine ring. They're fairly simple, but they have a beautiful effect. Okay, so let's get started. You can do a Josephine chain by attaching it to an element or whatever. I have made a ring here to just get started. It's nothing spectacular, okay? But if you're going to make a chain, anytime you make a chain, you need something for it to grip onto. If you're going to make a Josephine chain for like a necklace, like you've made the pendant part, the tatted pendant part, and you want to attach a chain to it tatted, and you want to use the Josephine chain, you just have to run your needle up and start tatting, okay? But you want to connect it to something. Otherwise, you can use a paper clip, you know, whatever, to hold your space. But you can't tat and start a chain and have it connect to something without something to grip onto. Okay, so let's get started. First thing we're going to learn is Josephine chain. They are beautiful. Okay, I have to admit they are my favorite stitch out of all the stitches. Okay, in order to do this Josephine chain, standard rule of thumb and standard practice is second half of the double stitch repeatedly for the amount of times that the pattern calls for. Okay, and you just keep putting them on. All right, and after a while you pull it around and put on some more. Now if the pattern calls for 10 Josephine stitches, you put on 10. If it calls for 15, you put on 15. And it's the second half of the double stitch. Now you can use the first half, okay, of the double stitch. It will just change the direction of what's going on here. And as you can see, it's starting to spiral around the needle. Okay, let me get it up here so you can see. See how it's spiraling? That is a Josephine chain, and it works up the same way as a regular chain. When you go to pull it off, okay, you pull it off the same way as you do a regular chain. But as you can see, the thread will start twisting, okay, as you're going. And every once in a while I leave it on my needle and I do just like I do with my shuttle, drop it, let it twist, let it get that twist out, okay, because it'll hamper your work. Okay, so now we've got our Josephine chain on. We're ready to pull it off. Guess what we're going to do? Take it off just like you do a regular chain. Alright, now yes, you tie off just like you do for a regular chain. Nothing deviates. The only thing is you're using the second half of the double stitch. Now, to make a Josephine knot. Josephine knots are rings that have a billowy effect to them, like a whole bunch of picots together. But it's only done with one half of the double stitch. And it's usually the second half of the double stitch. And it's worked using the same principle as the ring is. Okay, now in order to get the billowy effect, here's what we do. We put it on, we leave a gap. Okay, put your next one on, leave a gap. Alright, and what you're doing is you're creating little picots. Alright, Josephine rings are hard to do on needle, but you can do them on a needle. Okay, and you just keep going, leaving that gap. And after you get that second part on, pull it down. Okay, get another one on there, pull it down. And you can leave the gap as much as you want. You can adjust your gap however you want to do it. But what you're doing is leaving little bitty picots. And you're only using one half of that double stitch. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay? Then after you get the amount of stitches on there that you want for your Josephine ring, you pull them off and you close it as if it was just a normal ring. Alright? And the effect that it'll give you is this. You see how it's laying out here? It's like a fan. And on an entire ring, okay, this whole ring billows out just like a fan. Okay? So that is the gist of a Josephine knot and a Josephine ring. And they're both very lovely in patterns. So when you get an opportunity to use one, practice doing it. Okay? Because when you get an opportunity, it can make a piece look gorgeous. Okay? So until the next video, I hope you learned something from this one. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and happy tatting.